All right. We're moving on to Therapeutic Thursday. Insomnia. Oh my gosh. We hear about people talking about I not only do I hear about them talking about insomnia, I see all of you. I see all of you at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm still up too. And so I read what all of you write. Sometimes it's very funny. I mean, that's the best time to be on like Instagram and TikTok and just sit in the quietness, in the darkness when you can't fall asleep. But that's just me. All right, but it does really truly affect millions of people around the world, and we're really just not quite sure why it happens. There's a couple theories on different stages of life why it could happen, but insomnia is the inability to fall asleep and stay asleep, or stay asleep actually, which ends up resulting in you are being very fatigued, you're irritable, poor concentration, the whole 9 yards if you're not sleeping enough. And some of the causes of insomnia are thought to be stress, anxiety, post traumatic stress, caffeine, noise, bad habits, definitely menopause. So, a lot of times for women in this community, we don't know what we're going through is because of what happened with our aortic disease, or is it because we're in menopause? Could be the two. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're not sleeping for all people, and we need to figure out how to fix that. But here's some ways, and we've interjected a little bit of humor in this too. So avoid using your phone and computer. Exactly what you're doing at night. How I find out that everybody's not sleeping is exactly what you're not supposed to do, which
Hold
just
on.
cracks me up.
Before you move on to this, your
Yeah,
computer and your cell phone both have blue light filters, and you should turn
yeah,
those on all the time.
yeah. So you know what? You're gonna have to tell me how to do that part. Yeah.
Yeah. As somebody who suffers from like the sleep issues my whole life, when I found that out, I saw a noticeable difference of laying down and being more comfortable and ready for sleep. They're
Okay.
on 100% of the time on every device.
All right.
Even my Xbox has a blue light filter applied to it.
So you hear that, everybody? If you're gonna be on your devices, put that blue light thing on your setting. Save your eyes, and maybe you'll fall asleep faster. I'm going to try. As soon as we're done, you're going to tell me where to find that on my phone because that's what I'm typically on late at night. And then I will let you all know if I fall asleep faster.
Oh, that'll be good. We'll
So
check in next week. Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
will. So don't let me forget because you know I will. And we were just saying all of these electronic devices, they emit blue light. And as Josh was saying, they can keep you awake, keep your mind stimulated. It's just not going to be good for helping your insomnia. Plus, you might see something scary or annoying that will actually haunt your dreams. So we don't want that. Honest to God, that happens to me quite often. And then that's it. I'm a mess. All right, stick to a regular sleep schedule. You know, for me, my brain knows that when I put in my retainers at night, I immediately get sleepy. My brain just knows, okay, it's time. We're just gonna get comfy now. I got my retainers in, it's time to go to sleep. And for a lot of people, they don't believe in televisions in the bedroom because when you go into your bedroom, that's supposed to trigger you to know it's time to go to sleep. So do what you need to do to create that regular schedule. Set up your environment so that your brain says, okay, it's now time. We're going to go to sleep. And try to go to bed and wake up the same time every day as much as you can. Now, I do not own an alarm clock. I got rid of it after my aortic dissection. I do not believe in them. I will use my phone when I have to, but I really believe that my body will wake up when it's supposed to wake up, which typically is between 8:30 and 9, between 8 and 9 every single day. That's usually when, and that's with my eye mask. I just naturally, like, a Disney movie, just wake up. And I feel good about that. If
Your
somebody
pup dog
wakes me,
doesn't wake you up?
no, she doesn't come upstairs.
Hmm.
She doesn't come upstairs. No. And there's no kids in this house. So nobody's yelling, Ma. Nobody's waking me up. I have earplugs and an eye mask, so when I'm down, I'm down.
Hmm.
But anyway, doing all these things is really going to help your internal body clock, like readjust and set up for sleep. And unless you're a vampire, then just do the opposite. So this is not extremely funny, but it was kind of funny at first. All right, here we go. Create a comfortable and dark sleeping environment. There have been studies that say a cooler sleeping environment will enable you to sleep better and longer. So be like menopausal woman and sleep in the cold. Yes, it really does help. If there's any heat, I just can't, there's no way. I feel like
Oh,
I'm suffocating.
Oh,
Can't do it.
okay. So anecdotally,
Uh-huh.
a buddy of mine was a nuclear reactor operator, and these people tend to work on 12-hour shifts on a rotation. So he would have to go
Okay.
between day shift and night shift. So on top of having the blackout curtains and everything, he learned during his tenure that if he were to lower the temperature by 3 degrees,
Mhm.
it would create enough coldness to make him bundle up and get ready to sleep, so that he could switch over
Right.
from days to nights and nights to days.
See, proving my point. When I'm home, if you ask my husband every year at summertime, what's the first thing I say? It's so hot in here. And then he says, Karen, we've been doing this for 15 years. You say the same thing every year. I never touch the unit. It's always set at 69. It's either 69 AC or 69 heat. 69 heat is the worst. I would rather put on layers than to have to, deal with feeling heat come out of that vent. So when I go away on vacation, whenever, however long, immediately the first thing I do is I go right to that AC controller. It goes on AC and it goes down to 66. It just has to. It has to. There's room to play after that. Get me more blankets. I can't have it. I can't. I need the curtains drawn. He needs to have them open. He likes to see the sun in the morning. Ugh. Who wants that? I get my eye mask or I
Well,
put a towel over my
it's
eyes.
funny that you mentioned that, right? You're A good way to hack your circadian rhythm is to
Yeah,
go outside when you wake up. Okay, so
but it's
there's
too cold
apparently,
outside.
I know, there's apparently an enzyme that gets produced by the brain when you are out in the world. You can't look through a
Okay.
window. You have to be out
Oh,
there. You have to go outside. You don't have
interesting.
to stay outside. You just have to go outside for a couple minutes, just kind of take it in, and your
Okay.
brain goes, "This is the morning," and eventually you'll start to get sleepier toward the end of your day.
All right.
Which is why
So,
people who walk their dogs in the beginning of the day, huge, huge hack. That's a huge hack for them.
okay, then how do you explain men in general? They say goodnight and then in 10 seconds they're sleeping.
I'm not
Let's
one of
explain
those
that
people.
phenomenon.
Maybe I'm not
You're
a man.
not?
No, it
That's
takes me.
bizarre.
I don't mess with my sleep schedule at all. At 3 o'clock, I am laying down and I start doing all of the mindfulness practices of God damn it, get to sleep, just go to sleep, stop
3
thinking.
a.m.
3 a.m. and
makes,
I wake up
yeah.
at 9 a.m.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
Like
I
I
cannot mess with
need
this.
close to 8 hours or I'm non-functioning.
Oh, I cannot mess with this. If I mess with this in either way, if I go to bed at say 1, I will wake up at
Mhm.
like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and then I can't get back to sleep. If I go to bed at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I will wake up at 11 and be up until the following day
So bizarre.
with zero effort. I'll be like, nope, I'm awake.
So I am always like done the TV usually between 10 and 11. And if I'm feeling sleepy, I will just turn everything off and I go right to sleep. And again, I'm still not waking up till like 8 a.m. So I'm getting a really good night's worth of sleep. Now, if I am still awake, I'm usually falling asleep with the phone in my head and crushed together. And I'm usually in bed, most nights by midnight. Some nights it's a really bad night and I can't fall asleep till like 2 or 3 in the morning. But again, I need like a minimum of 6 hours or I'm out by 3 p.m. Gotta take a nap.
Oh,
Just can't do it on
Molly's
Mondays.
chiming in. Molly says
Yeah.
earplugs and eye shades, says the experienced professional international flight attendant. But
See?
not every night, because you can be desensitized to them.
Oh, well, there have
Mm.
been a couple nights that she's right, that I have actually fallen asleep, earplugs in hand. I wake with them, there could be one stuck to my forehead the next morning, and you just don't know. But they don't go in. And I just like listening to the sound of the fan, and I will actually fall asleep. And I'll fall asleep with the mask on my forehead, and then as soon as the first sign of sunlight, then it goes down. And that's it. So I'm prepared to make adjustments. But she's right, and if you fall asleep without these extra things, that's great. That's a good sign that you're not addicted or feeling desensitized to those other things. So true. Desensitized. She's right. And to what you were saying, you might want to try to relax your mind, do whatever mindfulness or things that you do that create relaxation for you. Ironically, for me, it is watching a little nonsense stuff on my phone. I find that very relaxing. But could be healthier and better if you tried some breathing exercises or some light meditation, or even did a little bit of like in the bed yoga, some body scans, some of the tightening and then relaxing type of things, or even read a book. My sister swears by reading a book every single night. She goes to bed early, reads her book, and then goes to, well, reads it on her Kindle and then goes to sleep. Right. That's what she does. But don't like watch a horror movie or play. Well, they say not to play video games, and definitely don't try to have an argument with somebody and then go to bed, because you're just going to be up all night. That's going to, for so many different reasons. But if you still can't sleep, don't force it. Try not to take sleep aids. Of course, have those discussions with your physicians. But if you can't fall asleep, sometimes just getting up and doing something really boring will really help. I have found that sometimes if I just try to start a movie, I will eventually, like, because my eyes are kind of closed looking down, I just fall asleep in that position. Um, don't worry about how much time you have left to sleep. That's just gonna, it's gonna make the falling asleep even harder, and it's gonna make you anxious, and it's gonna make you frustrated. You know what? Count sheep. Sounds stupid. Listen to music. Read this thing again. Maybe this will put you to sleep. For me, honestly, I like to, if I'm going on a trip, I go through everything I'm packing. I never make it through because I always fall asleep. Or I go through a budget and I try to think about my year-end budget, and that puts me right to sleep. I mean, things that I hate thinking about that are really mundane and repetitive usually put me to sleep. But insomnia can be very frustrating. It can be very overwhelming, but it's not hopeless. There are a lot of different tools and things that you can do to try to help you sleep, changing your lifestyle and your habits, and talk to a physician if you're really experiencing some issues. But, don't just jump to any over-the-counter sleep aids. Again, these could impact your blood pressure and heart rate. So just talk to a physician. And this says here, there's always coffee, avoid the caffeine at all costs, avoid that. So,
Well,
yeah.
so there's a couple things about coffee, right? First off, it's good for your liver,
Yeah.
right? There's a thing there. But I saw a therapist about my sleep problems in my
Mm,
mid 20s, and
okay.
we touched on the ritual for sleep. Brush your teeth, wash your face,
Hmm.
lay in bed. The whole don't put a TV in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Um, and then caffeine. Don't ingest caffeine after 2 p.m. if you have really bad sleep issues.
Hmm.
And so I was like,
Yeah.
really? Because I work from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Hmm.
And he was like, yeah, that's not going to help you. He's like, if you have sleep problems, he's like, the fact that you don't finish work until when most people are getting ready to go to bed. Like most
Hmm.
people in the world are like 10 o'clock. They're in the shower. They've already had
Right.
dinner. Their day's over. They're getting ready to walk the dog and go to bed. And
Yep.
I'm like, I just got
Exactly.
home from work, and I would go out every single night. I would find places to go every single night until I
Hmm.
would go home at like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock when the bars were closed.
That's
Because where there's
crazy.
a will, there's a way.
There's a way. There's a way. Yeah, caffeine definitely would keep me up, but I don't know, it's just not good for this community in general. But that is
Yeah, I can see that.
interesting. Yeah, your therapist should have addressed your ritual and made adjustments for your work schedule. Just saying.
Oh, I mean, it was a couple of years after that that I stopped working that kind of
Mm,
that like anytime I have a discussion with, a new client, I'm always like, listen, I work from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you have to fit yourself within those hours.
There's plenty of hours to fit within.
I think so too.